what is headquarters plan right now? What are they doing? And yeah, more importantly, like what's now Kimi's like executive like plans?
So the direction right now is really focused on building these like online holy communities because I think the way that the world has shifted is not going to go away anytime soon, right? Going virtual, Zoom has opened up. Um, it's brought down the barriers of geography, and so there's this focus for like online holy communities, and building up that way. There's also a big effort to package divine principle in a way that it's like an educational program that can help you have insight into your life so that you could like take it online, and figuring out marketing around that, like bite-sized clips that people find value in that help them to become better people, better individuals, find meaning in my life, be a better spouse, be a better parent, and really focusing more on actually making a difference in people's lives. Um, yeah, and then, I mean, that's just kind of internally. I'd say externally, we're looking at really
Hmm.
trying to build relationships, like build real relationships with the churches that we reach out to, and
Okay.
keep up that relationship, and work together on things, not just kind of try to do things by ourselves all the time. Yeah.
Hmm. But like, what does that mean practically? Like, what is going on? Like, what are the goals? Like, substantial goals, let's say, right? That headquarters is trying to focus on.
There are 7 goals with a bunch of numbers that I don't remember off the top of my head.
That's okay.
Um, I think it's something like in the next 7 years to have like 1,000 online holy communities. So
Hmm.
it's kind of like small groups, small churches, so that you know um, if like for me personally, my passion is marriage and relationships. I love like all of these books and on how to improve marriages and things like that. So it would be just as an example, like, okay, well, I'm passionate about marriage and improving marriage, and I see how divine principle really helps me have a better marriage, a better relationship with my husband, and building a community around that, like online, and then connecting it to the wider movement.
Okay. And anything else? Like
Definitely
besides.
like more strategic service projects also.
Okay.
So just as an example, like we've been really trying to support the mayor of Newark ever since we did the rally at Prudential Center there. We want to, build real relationships with them, not just kind of roll in with this big event and then roll out and be like, peace out, guys, like, never hear from us again. No, we want to continue to serve that community. Like they were so inspired to see so many active youth. That's a really unique point actually about our movement, is that we have a very engaged youth demographic that a lot of churches don't see. Their numbers are on the decline. And so for us to come in and say, oh, okay, you need volunteers for your turkey giveaway for people who are in need. Okay, yeah, we can easily get like 20 people at least, or how many people
Okay.
do you need?
Okay. I see. But how does that? I mean, but I don't know. It just feels really out of touch with the larger community as a whole, or like our movement as a whole in a way, because it's not everything. Like every so often, once we get a leader change, everything changes again. So it's like everyone's always confused, and I feel like is that really worth focusing on? Isn't in reach a lot more important in my opinion? Like isn't and how is like isn't like nurturing second gen much more important than doing this outreaching this kind of like show, for example?
Well, I think it's a misunderstanding to see that outreach is just outreach alone, because,
Okay.
you know, doing service projects actually helps our young people to practice their faith, to engage with
Hmm.
people outside of our movement. We have this really bad habit where we get comfortable with only people in the church, so we only want to chill with
Hmm.
people in the church, or we hang out with people in the church, or only people in the church are going to understand me. And I think that that's a mistake. Like if you really want to grow, you really want to understand, you need more experiences with other people. You need experiences with people outside of the movement in order to understand your own faith better, in order to understand yourself. And
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
doing these projects, it's not just, it's not only to kind of advance our um, advance our movement, so to say, but it's a real way for people to practice their faith.
Right. And I can understand that aspect, but I mean, more importantly, like why are there no, I mean, I just like for example, Cranes Club, right? Cranes Club had a really great purpose. I think they still do. They're trying to connect the professional second gen community and, keep them in the loop, and so that you can use them as like references, contacts, and try to do greater things, right? But I feel like they just dropped the ball because it's not happening. It's not, it's just something that, people wanted to do, and they put the nice teas out, and it's just like that's it. And there's no follow through. So I feel like, how can you create programs like this but then not follow through? So I feel like there's a huge lack of, like, interest in this area, where we're trying to develop the professionalism of us, right? Ages 18 to 25. And I think there's just such a lack of support in that area. And I feel like, why doesn't headquarters focus on developing of youth, when True Mother wants to do the same thing? And I feel like it's just such a mismatch of you know
Well,
ideologies.
okay, yes, I can totally see where you're coming from on that point. But I think that a lack of activity on the outside does not mean that there's not investment going on behind the scenes, because
Yeah.
coincidentally, I serve on the board for Cranes Club.
Right. Okay.
So, um, you know, we meet regularly and we really try to do things. And I think that this is characteristic of our whole movement, is that
Hmm.
when you get a group of idealistic people, really optimistic, idealistic people, you get a bunch of people who have a bad habit of saying yes to everything.
Oh yeah,
And
for
they're
sure.
like, oh my God, I love
Oh,
that
dude.
idea. I want to help out with that. Oh my God, yes, yes, ACLC. Oh yeah, I can help. I can do that. And we all feel very capable in our own ways, right? And we
For
like
sure.
want so hard for things to be successful. So we're like, okay, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. And what happens then is that you overtax yourself, like you're, jack of all trades, expert
Burnout.
at none. Yes, and burnout happens. And then, and so okay, so for me, I'm a huge Brene Brown fan. I don't know if you guys have ever read her books, but like Daring
Hmm.
Greatly,
Hmm.
um, yeah. Anyway, I love her work, and
Okay.
she talks about the way that people become resilient to tragedy. You become resilient to bad things, and resentment is to create boundaries and to honor those boundaries, because it's actually honoring what you are capable of. And
Right.
when I read that, for me, it's like it's really principled, because you are
Mm.
looking at yourself as capable, and my capabilities are limited. And so
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, so I need to just focus on this instead of like saying yes to every single project, and then nothing gets done, basically. And I
Hmm.
think that we need more of that in our movement. We need to teach not just the first gen, but the second gen
Hmm.
too, because
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that really answers the question, though, because I understand what you're saying about, like, not overextending yourself and honoring our commitments, and honoring the capabilities that we can do, but it doesn't answer the fact that
Well,
there's no programs, there's no substantial in reach, and, like, you know what I mean.
yeah, I mean, specific to Cranes Club, I can tell you everybody has a full-time job, and Cranes Club is like this side hustle that people are doing because it resonates for them. They really want it to make an impact. They see the potential. But again, like we each one of us has very limited time, and and not just limited time, but limited resources, right? So how do you get an organization that gets no funding to creating an income stream so that we could hire the people who have the talent and the ability to kind of move the goalpost forward, you know. None of the members who subscribe to Cranes Club pay yet. It's all been like a free subscription to, you know, what we have to offer, to our networking services, right?
Yeah.
So how do you shift that to a value provided model where people are willing to pay, like, okay, $50, $100 membership for the year, you know, and then we can, oh, okay, now we have income, we can hire somebody full time. Like up until now, it's all purely volunteer basis.
For sure. Yeah. And I understand.
I think it's kind of a, there's a double standard there for the members, because I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I want, but not a lot that I'm willing to pay for.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, but it's, I mean, at the end of the day though, but it's, these are all initiatives that are started by members though, right?
Yes.
So,
and I mean, to the point that Justin was saying, right? When you have a demographic that expects things for free, in the way that we run in America, then means that if you expect the product to be free, you become the product. And we're not willing to sell our members information, or to, like, you know, we're not willing to operate in that way where we take advantage of people, you know. So yeah, it's a tricky situation to try to figure out, and we're chugging along, we're trying to develop the ideas, but
right, I understand, but it's just, I don't think it really answers the question, and I don't think there might be an answer on the table, so I'll settle for that. Tora, did you have anything?